are going to continue talking about the Lizardmen, starting today with the Great Catastrophe. The Old Ones were beings of order and near omnipotence, but it is unknown when they first detected the impending disaster, or if they realized its magnitude. Although they tapped into the energies of the realm beyond their portals, they had always struggled to contain that power, and soon found themselves embattled by the forces of that impossible dimension. Having glimpsed some future portent, it is probable that the races the Old Ones created were intended to fight against the creatures from the realm of chaos. After the Lizardmen, the first of the newly created races was the Elves, and they learned the lore of magic in the lap of the gods themselves. The Dwarves soon followed, although their magic was insular and intrinsic to their craftsmanship. As the pressures of their cosmic war intensified, the Old Ones created the prolific and adaptable race of man, and, seemingly in haste, finally the halflings and the ogres were risen up from the lesser things that roamed the world. The coming of chaos. Disaster came suddenly. Whether due to enemy attacks or structural failure, the portals collapsed. The eldritch machineries of the gates crashed down upon the world in a burning hail of star metal. Simultaneously, the poles of the world imploded, opening rifts into the beyond. Chaos spewed forth from the spirit realm. Meteors of congealed magic, a substance known as warp stone, left weirdling contrails that set the skies aflame. The planet shuddered under thunderous impacts, with some meteorites burrowing like animals, gnawing deep into the world's foundation. A layer of warpstone dust was cast into the air, its mutating properties causing untold atrocities. Across the globe, the sea churned, and the forest canopies shook, convulsing with grotesque growth. Where the northern gateway had once been, there now throbbed a second moon, a green satellite made of pure warpstone. Many cries were lifted to that sickly orb, as hideously twisted creatures were born, howling in their agony. As their portals collapsed, the Old Ones disappeared, their fate unknown. Yet the disaster could have been worse if the Old Ones' most powerful servants, the Slan, had not staved off complete destruction by sealing much of the rent in reality. So great was the strain of that undertaking that half of their number were slain, their brains melted by the incongruity of chaos. Despite their sacrifice, the Slan could only shrink the gap. They could neither close it nor stem the tide of magical energy that swept the planet. The Old Ones were gone, and the Lizardmen and the fledgling races were now abandoned before a new and diabolical foe. The world besieged. In the wake of the clouds of magic came the demonic legions of the Chaos Gods. They crystallized out of swirling madness, materializing in numbers beyond count. Each demon was a powerful facet of its master, an unnatural being that burned with the urge to destroy. And so the war for the mortal realm was begun. Faced with annihilation, the remaining Slan rallied, mustering armies the size of which have never been seen in the world since. The demons attacked everywhere, but the Lizardmen bore the brunt of the attack. What followed was a series of terrible wars, titanic clashes that spanned continents, lasted centuries, and claimed untold lives. The Saurus met the demonic tide, able to match their ferocity and return it in kind. But the might of the Lizardmen did not rest solely with its armies. The Slan atop their pyramid temples gathered the rampant magical energies to fuel spells of unprecedented destruction. They gulped in the magic-infused air and belched forth firestorms, unleashed tidal waves, or split the earth asunder to lay waste to the invaders. In the war's opening stages, the Slan proved more powerful than even the most magically adept of the demons. However, as the chaos energies and unending reinforcements continued to flood into the world, the balance began to shift. The crumbling of civilization. As the chaos energies ebbed stronger, the Slan felt their powers dim, their spells growing harder to control. Even a minute error while manipulating magical forces resulted in horrific mishap. Many Slans suffered mind-shredding backlashes or were lost to their own incandescent miscues. While the unconstrained winds of magic sapped the Slan, it conversely invigorated the demons, for they were born of the unnatural stuff and could readily shape it for their own use. As the magical supremacy shifted, so too did the war. On the battlefields, titans made of pure fury smashed into the Saurus cohorts until the land was awash with blood. Plague monsters and beasts of living brass hurtled headlong into cold-blooded colossi, while above, flying reptiles battled bat-winged behemoths for control of the skies. Despite mauling their demonic foes, the Lizardmen were driven back. The Slan drew ever more upon their nexus of power, using its grounding to steady the unstable energies swirling around them. In desperation, they enchanted the jungle, turning their surroundings into a death trap full of carnivorous plants, living quicksand pits, and teeming swarms of insects whose stings could crack a dragon's scale. Rivers were redirected to impede the demonic advance, and volcanoes rose and erupted to slow their hellish progress. Yet still the fell legions rampaged onwards. The Lizardmen withdrew to their temple cities, bastions of order amongst a sea of chaos. For a time, even the relentless minions of the dark gods were checked as the Lizardmen exacted a tremendous toll. Giant reptilian beasts waded into the tumult, crushing paths through the hellish hordes before being lost to sight beneath the writhing masses. Strange devices left by the Old Ones were unleashed, artifacts of power that melted away the opposition by the thousands. Heedless of their losses, the demons continued to batter away at the protective barriers conjured by the Slan to protect each temple city. Eventually, the demons devised a way to breach the wards, and Zahutek was the first to fall, its inhabitants slaughtered and its skyscraping pyramids cast down. It began a chain reaction, weakening the magical barriers erected over each other temple city in turn. So Huatl, Tlansla, and Zodal fell in quick succession. At Zodal, the Slan mage priests managed to hold out long enough to send warnings to the remaining cities, allowing them to employ suitable counterspells. The demon demons were stymied for a period, yet they were unrelenting. They devised new devilries to defeat each defense, unleashing a plague to overcome Chakwa, leveling Quetzaltec with the sonic barrage of 1,000,000,000 slaughtered souls in agony, and summoning shadowy tentacles to drag the great triangular temple city of Zarmuda deep under the sea, where its forced dome eventually cracked. After 1,000 years of battle, only a handful of temple cities stood, each a bastion protected by the greatest of the remaining Slan. The defense of Itza. At last the way was clear for the demons to besiege Itza, the first city and linchpin of the Lizardmen's arcane defenses. Itza was under the protection of Lord Croak, first of all Slans spawned upon the world, and the mightiest of mages. The energy dome that surrounded Itza crackled with energy, turning demons to dust as they railed against it. Yet, after years of strain, even Lord Croak could sustain such mystic walls no longer, and with a final surge, he exploded the barrier outwards, flattening the surrounding jungle. 100,000 demons were banished in an instant. Nevertheless, the remainder swarmed into Itza. Of all that long war, no battle was more fiercely fought than the one amongst the streets of Itza. Only an epic stand by Lord Croak's army of Temple Guard prevented the demons from overrunning the Great Pyramid. For many days and nights, the elite Saurus warriors stood firm on the lofty Bridge of Stars. Using his reservoirs of energy, Lord Croak prepared his final incantations. As the last of the Temple Guard was cut down, Lord Croak spouted forth spells that were the preserve of gods, raining fire from the heavens to vaporize the foe. Time stood still as the fabric of the universe strained at the outpour of sheer power. Yet eventually even Lord Croak succumbed. A dozen bloodthirsters, protected by the favor of their dark god, fought through the deluge of spells and reached the top of the pyramid. There they fell upon Lord Croak's form, ripping him apart in a savage instant. So overcharged with arcane energies was Lord Croak that his spirit fought on, refusing to let even death hinder him. Set free of his flesh, Croak's radiant will soared above the ruins, scouring the invaders with a divine light that was like unto a second sun. The first city was saved. Although Itza was delivered, the war raged on. Across the globe, the younger races also faced the demon legions. Despite retreating to their mountain holds, the dwarfs had been decimated. The elves of Ulthuan suffered a tremendous loss, but in the end their mages enacted the great ritual, a spell that created a vast vortex that drained away swaths of the magic that flooded the world. Deprived of their lifeblood of magical energy, the demons disappeared back to their seething realm. Yet the world was irrevocably damaged, now transformed into a world saturated with magic and monsters. And there is where we are going to stop for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It seems like the Lizardmen kinda didn't hold their own that well, which I wasn't really expecting. Anyways, I'll see you guys next time.